Hi, everyone. Doc Talk. Here we are in June. Uh, we had a great Memorial Day across the country. Kind of a timely issue that began, as usual, around Memorial Day drownings and near drownings. And of course, what we're most concerned about the drowning issue is prevention of. These are little people, people who aren't prepared to go into water, people who get caught now on vacation in surfs and in places where they're not familiar with and they get into water. And then occasionally, now with our tropical or tropical like rains, people driving into high waters. So, very quickly, we can't do enough in public safety to warn people about the dangers of drownings. And really, this is all about prevention. So, people in situations where there's heavy water, rain coming down, tropical situations, etc., please educate your community as much as possible about staying away from roadways that are covered in water and being swept away. It is not worth the risk. Turn around, don't drown is very, very real, and that's the correct messaging. Number two, very important, is children around bodies of water, whether that's pools, the up above ground backyard pools, or lakes, streams, and the ocean. Can't be safe enough. Can't be distracted, and that's one of the common themes. Someone's distracted. Hey, I just got to go for a minute and do this chore. I got to answer the door. I got to answer my phone or pay attention to my phone for a couple minutes, and boom, the child's in the water, or they can't find the child and they find him in water. Oh, these are just such tragic cases, and so hard on the rescuers and so hard on the families. We've had so many drownings recently in my community, and Dr. Hollerbach, who's our executive producer here, she mentioned one as well. And please, drowning safety and messaging as we go into the 4th of July weekend. We have a midweek 4th of July, which means we're going to have really extended holiday challenges this year. When we have those midweek July the 4th, everything gets extended to one of the weekends or the other. So lots of outdoor activity, lots of drinking, and so please be careful and message it that way. The other big news of the week is vaccinations. So here we are. This is prep time for what's coming in the fall. There's no anticipation right now of any big respiratory events this fall. So I want to start there. We have the H5N1. We had another case this week in a dairy worker. They're trying to figure this out. They're planning for vaccinations and other responses to any H5N1. Not worth talking about at this point. What is worth talking about is RSV, because this week Moderna, the company, announced that it had developed a vaccine for RSV for seniors, and the FDA approved that vaccination. So we're going to hear another round of discussion about preventing RSV in little people and in older people. And older people in this case is 60 years plus, and in particular those in that 60 years plus that have health risks that make them susceptible to really bad RSV infections. RSV has generally been considered a disease of young people, and it's a horrible disease for little kids. It gives them terrible respiratory distress and croup and tremendous difficulty breathing and life threat to little people. The younger, the worse it is. We now have the opportunity to vaccinate the young people, and we can do it in two ways. There's been 2 vaccinations approved for pregnant women during a certain period of time in their second and third trimester. When they can get vaccinated, they build up antibodies from the jab, and they pass those antibodies to their child, who's then protected for months to years after they're born. That's a very good way to immunize little children, is protecting them through the mom before they're delivered. Okay. The second way, an innovative way, we have gotten used to monoclonal antibodies as prevention or treatment of COVID. They extended that to RSV and said we can immunize young people from RSV by giving them monoclonal antibodies. There are several of those available that can be given to little children. So this is under the age of 3. Talk to your pediatrician. And those children are immunized using monoclonal antibodies for that young life period when they are so at risk for life-threatening and in the intensive care unit cases of RSV. For the seniors, we now have several vaccinations available for 60 plus. Time to discuss this with your senior physician, your internal medicine physician, your family physician about immunization against RSV using messenger RNA or protein-based vaccinations. Really important to prevent that because now we realize a lot of older people get RSV as well. What that does then, there has been significant change in how parents have been vaccinating children in recent years, particularly in the COVID and after years. And we have seen a rebirth of a lot of the diseases we thought were gone: polio, measles, mumps, and others. So the Pediatric Association in the country for infectious diseases has repeated the message that young children, while they're in their formative time, so meaning their first 2 years of life, can get vaccinated against terrible, terrible diseases. Those diseases include diphtheria, tetanus, polio, measles, mumps, rubella, and varicella, Haemophilus influenza, hepatitis B, which resounds with those of us in fire EMS and other public safety occupations, because that's been a scourge, a horrible form of hepatitis. And we can prevent that in children with this vaccination. And then finally, pneumococcus, which is the pneumonia vaccine, a bacteria that occasionally causes death in young people. So those 7 primary immunizations need to occur in young children. And please, for the younger members of the public safety force that have children, please know how important all these vaccines are. For all of us in public safety, we have to relearn the names of these old diseases because we're seeing them surge back again because our population's not being immunized. And we've even had to think through polio response, which is a virus that we thought had been eliminated from the planet, but it is back, and people not immunizing their children against this very old scourge that frankly was the beginning of how we got to ventilators because it produces toxins in the body that allow people not to breathe. And they had to try to figure out a treatment for that in the early 1900s. So bottom line, immunization for children, very important. RSV vaccination, you're going to hear more about as we move into the fall. This would be a wonderful disease for us to wipe out in the young and in the seniors so that we don't have to deal with these people in horrible respiratory distress and the crouping little kids who are so sick in front of us. And we learn about respiratory distress with those kids. We can prevent those diseases with proper immunizations. And those immunizations are not vaccinations. They're immunization of the mom when she's pregnant, and then monoclonal antibodies for the younger kids. It is vaccination. It's called vaccination in the older population. So there we are as we move through summer months, drowning prevention, thinking ahead to the fall. It's a great time to be planning ahead for us. Doc Talk, here we are in June. Enjoy your summer. Look forward to talking to you right before the 4th of July. Have a great week. Thanks.